it's Courtney with clickitupanotch.com, and I wanted to do another one of our video question and answers. So our question today is from Rachel Caslin, and she has a question about backlighting. She says, tonight she was trying to shoot a couple with lots of pretty backlighting and sun flare. I had a lot of trouble getting the camera to focus a number of times. I switched to manual focus a few times to get that effect, but it was driving me nuts. Any ideas for working with that gorgeous sunset light? It is hard if you're having to manual focus and you're not used to it. So one of the things with backlighting, which we all love backlighting, it's beautiful, it adds warmth and softness to your image, and now that it's spring and the sun is finally coming out and it's warm enough to get outside, I know we all want to get out there and play with some gorgeous lights. So here's a trick I learned in one of my workshops that I took at Click and Moms. What you're going to do is you'll take your camera and you're going to use your hand like a shield. I have my lens hood on. If you don't want lens flare, that might help too with backlighting, is to put a lens hood on. Most of the time they come with your lens, but if they don't, they're pretty inexpensive. I believe you can buy them separately. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand and you're going to shield it. And you're going to go ahead and set up and meter and set your focus and do everything you need to do. And keep your hand there, because what you're doing is you're shielding the sun from coming into your photo, because that's what's keeping you from being able to focus, is all that sun coming in. Your camera's having a hard time finding your subject. So by shielding that, your camera can lock in on your subject. So you'll go ahead and set it up, lock in on your subject. If you use back button focusing, this is when it comes in handy. And once you're ready and everything's set up, remove your hand and go ahead and take your images, okay? Because you should have your focus locked by then. So that will help a lot with the focusing, because it is tricky when you have a subject and all that light and everything pouring in. So you want to make sure that you use it, using your hand like you would if you're like squinting your eyes, you know, from the sun, you're shielding your eyes. You're doing the same thing with your lens. So, and we actually have another question today about backlighting that I thought I would tackle because it's along the same lines. And this one is from Jennifer. She said, if your subject has bright sunlight coming from behind, how do you meter it so that the subject isn't really dark and the background really bright? So again, that same trick of setting it up, everything up, get everything ready, shield your hand, meter on your subject. This will make sure that your subject is properly exposed. Remove your hand, take the picture, and then your subject should still properly be exposed, but the light's coming in. And the background is still going to be pretty bright, especially it depends what time of day you're shooting, and if you don't want your background completely blown out, a lot of times when I'm photographing, the sky might get blown out, where it looks just washed out, it just looks white. That happens sometimes because the light's not evenly falling on your subject. So if you don't want the background to be super bright, you might want to use a reflector to add some light to your subject. So I did that one time. I made my husband go with me to a park. I had this idea in my head of exactly what I wanted, so I said, please come help me. Neither one of us really enjoyed it because I'm chasing the kids aren't in the mood, they're younger, they're running around. He's trying to run after him with the reflector, we look like crazy people in this park. I mean, it was just, we were a hot mess. But it was what I wanted to try. So honestly, I don't use a reflector all that much. I don't mind if the sky is a little blown out. That's just a personal thing. Just because mainly those are for my personal images, because it's too hard for me to hold a reflector and take the picture and get my kids to look, or try to sweet talk my husband into holding the reflector. So if you have something in mind you want to do, then maybe try a reflector on your subject to add a little bit more light to them. But honestly, if you just try that trick with your hand on the lens, that should help a lot. So thank you, Rachel and Jennifer, for your questions. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer in our video question and answer, please email me at clickitupanotch@gmail.com and put the subject line video Q&A. That way I know that you want it for this. And while you're here, if you found this video useful, be sure to like it, share it on Facebook, Twitter, pin it, whatever. I appreciate it. And be sure to follow us on YouTube so that you can stay up to date with the latest videos.